felony of the 4th degree, and harassment with a bodily substance, a felony of the 5th degree in violation of ORC 2921.38. The defendant is present today in court with counsel, Mr. Malky. We are here for purposes of sentence, and according to the Adult Probation Department report, the defendant has 25 days credit.
All right, Mr. Mulkey.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. May it please the court counsel, others in the courtroom today. Obviously, I've had multiple opportunities to speak to Mr. Upshaw regarding his matter as it related to his plea and now his sentencing. I've reviewed his pre-sentence report. I reviewed several letters submitted by friends and family that I've submitted to the court, Your Honor. First of all, he is incredibly remorseful about this incident. Alcohol played a huge, huge factor in this, and therefore his mind was definitely altered. He was not in the right state of mind when he did this. From what I understand, and from the letters from his employer, from his pastors, from other members of his church congregation, this was out of character for him. Had he had that night to do over again, he would not have done so. He was at Giovanni's, as the court is well aware. There were gunshots fired. His 23-year-old brother that he was trying to locate in the mayhem. It's been stated, I believe, that he had actually gone outside and then actually came back in, which actually led to all the nonsense that has brought us here today, Your Honor. As we look forward to the future, there's nothing he can do about the past, but he has come up with a plan, which I also submitted to the court as Exhibit A3, Your Honor. A1 and 2 are the 2 pages of his apology letter to the court. If he's able at some point, he would like to write a genuine letter of apology to the officer, law enforcement involved that day, Your Honor. He had a 2.8 GPA at Thomas W. Harvey High School. He would like to get his GED. He has a valid license. He's gainfully employed, and there's also a letter of recommendation or a letter in support from his employer. That's Exhibit D, Jeremy Schneider, a handwritten letter from Sharp Edge Tree and Landscaping. Jeremy is the general manager. He plays the drums at his church. He's actively involved there. They miss his support, his companionship. Moreover, Your Honor, he's expecting a child in January of 2025. His fiance is here in support of him today. Her name is Caitlin Maggello, Your Honor, and again, she's here supporting him. He also helps her raise her 3 other children that are not his biological children. So he has many responsibilities. He's an active member of the community, both employment-wise and church-wise, Your Honor. So I think he's got a long road of recovery ahead of him in terms of substance abuse, specifically alcohol, but it looks like there's some marijuana use as well. Ms. Forensic Assessment Counselor made 6 recommendations indicating that if he followed all 6 of these recommendations, his prognosis would be good. And those are intensive outpatient treatment program and aftercare, mental health assessment, and following recommendations, 3 to 5 weekly 12-step meetings, obtain a sponsor in a home group. I talked to him about that. Maintain his employment, which he'll have no problem doing. He has his job waiting for him. To obtain and continue with one primary doctor, dentist, and pharmacy. And number 6 would be abstain from all mind-altering substances, Your Honor. His risk to reoffend is medium, but of that, which I find significant, and I invite the court to do the same, is that he has a low criminal history, practically none. So I would ask to give this young man a chance on community control with no additional local jail time, certainly no prison time, Your Honor, and any sort of programs and treatment that the court seems fit. He will certainly follow all court orders, all probation recommendations, and assessment recommendations, Your Honor. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Upshaw, what do you want to tell me?
May I stand? I would like to apologize to you about everything I've done. Like I said, this is my first time getting in trouble. If I can change everything from that night, I would.
Hold on. I mean, don't apologize to me. You didn't do anything to me. The guy sitting over here that you did it to.
I'm sorry for the things that I did to you, sir. Like I said, I was very drunk, and if I wasn't drunk, I would have never done the things that I did. I'm not a bad person at all. This is my first time ever being in trouble. If I can just get the chance to be back with my family and my kids and get back to work in my church family, and like I said, I'll do everything I need to do to get back to them today. I understand what I did wasn't right, and I was extremely drunk, but that doesn't justify my actions at all. But I'm truly sorry.
So tell me about that night from the start.
I was drinking. I was drinking a lot. There was gunshots that rang out. I went outside looking for my brother. I couldn't find him. I went back inside, didn't see him. Went back outside, and then I tried to go back in, and they told me I couldn't. And that's when I guess I struck the officer, and that's when they took me into custody.
Okay, so where were you drinking?
You said where was I drinking?
Where were you drinking before you got to Giovanni's?
I was drinking there.
Okay,
That's where I started out at that night because it was a Halloween party.
all right. And how many times had you been to Giovanni's before?
I want to say maybe 5 to 7 times before.
Okay. You know that's a known place where drugs are flowing all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you go to places like that? If you're a guy that's never been in trouble, once as a juvenile, okay, never been in trouble, why are you hanging out at that rat hole?
That's where all my friends go, to be
Okay.
honest, and
All right.
that's where they asked me to go, so that's where I went, Your Honor.
Was it your habit to drink like that?
I would drink every weekend, but I wouldn't get that drunk like that besides that night.
What kind of drugs?
I was only smoking marijuana, sir.
So this happened October 21st, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you attribute it to being blind drunk, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So why did you continue to drink and smoke marijuana after this happened?
I didn't drink after that. After that incident happened, I've been on the scram bracelet for 5 to 6 months, but I was smoking because I was going through a lot. I was stressed out, and I honestly couldn't stop.
Well, that's why you're sitting here right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So when is this nonsense going to stop?
Now it stopped. It stops now. I mean, I turned myself in when I found out I had a warrant for smoking weed. So I told myself right then and there that that was the end of it.
All right. Now, how many? You watch the videos on this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many people were there? Do you think?
There was a lot. There was like, I want to say 50 to 75 people that night. I'm pretty sure.
And how many police officers were there?
That I do not remember.
Ms. Naroda, how many police officers were there?
There were at least, I would say, 5 to 6 from 3 agencies, Judge, so I would say 40 to 30 to 40 officers.
Oh, no.
No?
Probably 15 officers
50,
total.
okay.
15 officers?
There were at least, I know there were at least 4 from Willoughby and
4 from
4
Willowick,
from Willowwick, and then I think
3 from
Wycliffe.
from Wycliffe,
Wycliffe.
one from Kirtland.
the one from her.
So
Okay.
12 officers with 50 to 60 or 70 people with gunshots in a pretty small area, right?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, that parking lot ain't very big, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. So how are the police supposed to respond to that and keep control of that?
Tell everybody to leave and go home and try to diffuse the situation until they figure out what's going on.
And so when did the problem occur?
I want to say 15 to 20 minutes after the gunshots rang out.
And what is it that any of the police officers did wrong that night?
I think they did everything that they were supposed to do with me acting the way I did, Your Honor.
So, how can this continue to be and have any order out there in society?
I've learned from it, and I'm trying to better from it. I mean, like I said, I knew it wasn't wrong.
Where do you live?
I live in Painesville,
Okay. Where at?
832 North Ave.
Okay. Where do you work? Where's it located? Where do you go in the morning?
I go to Minner. It's right across from, I want to say, the maintenance building where the Minner police go to fill up and stuff. So it's like literally right across there. It's Twin Brook Road.
Okay, and then you go out to wherever you're working from there?
Yeah.
Do you go grocery shopping at all?
Yes.
Where?
We go to Myers.
On Menor Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you go to the grocery store, you go in, you buy whatever you're buying, you pay for it, and you leave, and you go home, right?
Yes, sir.
Without any problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if somebody wants to go to the drug den that is Giovanni's, okay, let's say somebody just wants to go to the bar and have a beer and then go home, don't they have an expectation that they can go there, have a beer, and go home without any trouble?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I mean, isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Yes, sir. It is.
All right. So what exactly, what problems do you have to address so that you don't get yourself in another jackpot like this?
The one of my problems is the smoking weed and the alcohol, sir. Like I said, I haven't drank since that incident, but it's mostly the marijuana that I have a problem with. But I know now that I can't keep doing the things that I was doing then, sir.
So you're addicted to marijuana?
Yeah, I was, yes. But ever since I turned myself in, I haven't smoked since then.
Well, you've been in jail, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you turn yourself in?
I think it was the Saturday morning, to the day after the sheriffs came to my house because I was at work when they came. So I turned myself in Saturday
How many
morning.
days, Mr. Randazzo?
It's 25 days total, Your Honor.
When did he turn himself in?
I'd have to look it up. It was, I think the sound verification came out on Friday, and I think he was in on Saturday.
This past weekend?
No, it was, I interviewed him on the 12th of June, so it was prior to that.
I think it was the 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. What have you been doing when you're in jail?
I've been sitting there trying to stay to myself and reading the Bible, sir, to be honest with you.
What involvement do you have with your church?
I play the drums and I help with the youth choir at my church,
Which church?
St. John's Baptist Church right in Painesville on Jackson Street.
All right, anything else you want to say?
No, sir.
Mr. Rhoda?
Judge, the state is not opposed to the court ordering community control sanctions and making the finding the defendant is amenable to those. However, the state would ask for additional jail time in this particular situation, given the conduct that the defendant engaged in. As unfortunate as it is, I'm sure this is not the first case of assault on a peace officer the court has seen, but in this particular case, it was a persistent version of that, Judge. The defendant was verbally combative initially and then left the area but came back, and the conduct escalated at that point. And it was an already volatile situation that he was contributing to. The officers, fortunately, Sergeant Cook's here to correct my math, were there to attend to what had happened in the bar and then trying to do crowd control outside. And he was taking resources away from that, given his behavior, and creating a volatile situation outside. So the state feels that additional jail time is an appropriate sanction under the circumstances, given that his conduct had escalated and is somewhat more serious than some of the other cases that we have seen at that time. The state would ask for any other conditions the court deems appropriate, given the reports concerning the defendant's use of drugs and/or alcohol as well, Judge. And as the court is aware, Sergeant Cook is here present in the courtroom, but he does not wish to make any further statement beyond what he had put in his report.
All right, thank you. All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report and the drug and alcohol evaluation, the items submitted by Mr. Mulkey. Listen to Mr. Upshaw. Listen to counsel. I've considered all the provisions in 29-29-11, 29-29-12, and 29-29-13. I'm going to place you on community control for 5 years. You're going to serve 60 days in the county jail with credit for 25. You'd have no drugs or alcohol, and you'll be screened. You'll complete an IOP program and follow all recommendations. You're going to complete the decision points program, follow all those recommendations. When's the last year that you were in school?
The last year was, pretty sure 2018.
Okay. Going to get your GED?
Yes, sir.
Going to maintain full employment
Yes, sir.
and pay the costs and supervision fees associated with this case. Anything else, Ms. Randazzo?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You understand all the terms?
Yes, sir.
If you fail to comply with the terms, then the state will file a motion to terminate your community control. If I find you violated, then you face 30 months in prison. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And after your release, you might be on post-release control for up to 2 years under the parole authority with conditions. If you don't comply with the conditions, the parole authority could return you to prison for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. If the violation's a new felony, you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for that violation, the maximum of which would be the greater of 12 months or the time left under post-release control. Is there anything else, Mr. Mulkey?
Not at all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Naroda?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, we're adjourned.